Hello and welcome back to my channel and a belated happy 2025 to you. It's already February and I'm already failing on things I wanted to build habits with this year. But I'm not going to let it get me down. I've been very busy in January and I'm not going to do myself down on prioritising other important things. I expect many of us are considering what we wish to bring and achieve for the new year. I have to admit that after my terrible last year with the death of my wonderful dad, I'm not planning on much. I'm still grieving and trying to heal. So I'm just going to concentrate on being kind to myself and not telling myself off when I feel like I'm failing, which is often. I'm sure many of us fall into those negative thoughts, and I'm actively telling myself not to worry, and it does help. Today is Sunday and I'm going to have a nice relaxing day. I have a bit of a reset routine when I've had a busy week. I feel lucky I no longer work on the weekends, because when I did, I never felt like I had a proper day to switch off from work, and I would still get messages from work on days off. So there was never a good cut off like I have now. So I'm going to begin with some restful music. I particularly like BBC Sounds because they have lots of playlists to choose from, and I like a good stretch. I'm incredibly tight, but I try to loosen up my muscles because, like I said, I'm not supple in any way. And I try to do a bit of meditation while I hold that stretch. I used to go for a run or to the gym, but actually I don't want to leave my flat as I'm out all week. So at the moment, I'm just going to do at-home workouts. I get in a good afternoon walk on my lunch breaks during the week, so I feel like I'm getting enough exercise. I try to keep any chores to a minimum, but one thing I am going to do today is make bread. I'm on the bandwagon of sourdough and it is delicious. I use brown bread flour for my starter, which is flour water in a jar, and leave it to ferment. I feed mine every other day, just 2 tablespoons of flour and water, and I like to change the jar like midweek just to keep it sterilised. For the bread itself, I'll leave the recipe below, but once mixed, I then try to just work it a little with a spoon every hour or so, because I don't like kneading, and I don't want a big mess to clear up. I then just let it rest overnight, and if I remember, I'll show you Monday morning's creation. So this is it. It is looking very well risen. Just knock it back now. Now that that's in the case with a little bit of a struggle, it's just going to sit there and see if it rises up again, and then it'll go into the oven to bake. Now the bread is proving, I'm going to settle down with a book. I find books are a great solace, so with that being said, here I thought I would talk about my favourite reads of 2024. Though reading wasn't much of a priority last year, nor was it easy to concentrate when I had time to read. However, when I couldn't read, I would play audiobooks and listen, normally while trying to fall asleep. I found focusing my thoughts on a storyline rather than my grief really helped me decompress. It's a rather short list of books, but these are the ones that really helped me through last year. The first one being Be Ready When the Luck Happens by Ina Garten. I read this right at the end of the year and I found so many pearls of wisdom in it. I guess, like any autobiography, there's so much to be gained from someone else's life experience. I love the little motto she came to live by, the first being the title. My favourite was, "You never know your bad breaks from your good." This is such a good one to live by. We all have terrible disappointments in life, but if you can twist your perspective and say, well, maybe this bad thing happened, will eventually lead me somewhere good. Or maybe if this good thing had happened, it would have led me somewhere bad. I think many of us tell ourselves an absolute. I get to this point, or I have these things, and my life will be great. This book is a reminder that when you're hitting the buffers through life, it maybe is nudging you in the direction you always needed to go in. Another book I really enjoyed was a fictional book, Last Night at the Villa by Simon Mccleave. I listened to this as an audiobook. A divorced woman runs an Airbnb type business, and the father of the family who rents the villa is found floating in the pool one morning. The plot was good with a few unexpected twists. Really enjoyed listening to it and kept me engaged. Another autobiography slash biography, From There to the Unknown by Lisa Marie Presley and Riley Keough. When someone is that famous, you almost think like life isn't going to unfold in the same way for them as it is for you. But the human condition doesn't change just because you're born to a wealthy family. Lisa Marie Presley suffered loss, loneliness, addiction, like many others, and she wanted to help others out with those tough conditions and experiences. She clearly tried very hard herself. There are voice snippets from Lisa Marie Presley in the audiobook, and it was nice to hear her voice contributing to her story. The main book was read by Julia Roberts and Lisa Marie's daughter Riley, which gave it a real warmth, a thoughtful and heartfelt book. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I was so late to this one, but it's a story of an actress whose love of her life hides in plain sight. It's a reminder that however famous a person is, we never know what is happening in someone else's life. Even people we're close to can hide big secrets from us. You can see why it was so popular at the time of publication. A really good read. Another book that I cherish is A Manual for Heartache by Cathy Renzenbrink. I have spoken about this book many times and I think everyone should read it. Coping with heartbreaking times is extremely difficult, and I think the more so when you compare your upset or your pain to others, you tell yourself someone is suffering more, so you shouldn't feel so broken by it. This book covers many different types of loss than just losing a loved one. It can be loss of a relationship, a job, a dream, a pet, anything that can give you grief. Um, and then it helps you feel acceptance for what the situation is. It doesn't give false hope or promises. It's a mental redress to figure out how to continue. Now, this is your new reality. Another fictional book which was very popular, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. I love the concept of this book, that sometimes we avoid the questions we know we should ask because we don't want to know the answer, as it would mean us having to take an action or challenge a situation, putting our lives, our peace of life at risk. It's a very clever insight into ourselves, and it is a beautifully written love story as well. Well, that is me for the rest of the day. I'm going to curl up with my current read, which is Diva by Daisy Goodwin. That is a fictionalized story about the opera singer Maria Callas's life. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and goodbye.